Hey guys, Auspicious Aussie here, and welcome to episode 79 of the San Marino Challenge. Now, today's episode, as you can tell by the title, it is going to be the FIFA Club World Cup final against Boca Juniors from Argentina. Of course, they won the Copa Libertadores. And well, we won the Champions League, so it's pretty fitting. It is in Egypt at the Cairo International Stadium. And due to that, Al Ahly from Egypt have been included in the competition. And we'll get into the fixtures in a second. But first of all, I want to show you the league table. As you can see, 13 wins, 2 draws, 0 losses in Serie A currently. And as you can see, we're currently about 9 points ahead of Bologna. But we do have a game in hand. So essentially, we could bump that up to about 12, which would be pretty good, especially at this stage of the season. You know, we're only, 15, 16 games in? I think that's a pretty decent position to be in. Very dominant performance by the team so far. And actually, if we look at the fixtures here, we have not lost a game this season. That is how good this team is currently. Anyway, of course, the previous episode was, I think it was after the Basel game, because it was the international double header, where, of course, I went over the bad news with our dual nationality players getting Italy caps. So I think it's Lazio. Anyway, we'll start with Lazio. 4-0 victory. Famato with a brace. Britos on the score sheet there as well. And then Yusufi getting a pretty late goal in the 87th minute. We then also managed to beat Genoa. A 2-0 victory away from home. Famato and Vitek on the score sheet. Another pretty late goal by Vitek. We then managed to beat Celtic away at Celtic Park 2-0. Viviani and Sabir on the score sheet for us there. We then managed a 4-0 victory over Sampdoria. Pretty impressive performance, to say the least. Famato with a brace, Champlat and Viviani on the score sheet. And well, we followed it up with another 4-0 victory, this time away to Spal. Viviani, Famato, Britos and Michelotti on the score sheet there. We could only manage a 0-0 draw at home to Benfica in the last Champions League group stage game, which is a little bit disappointing because we could have gone perfect in our group if it wasn't for this draw. So a little bit annoying, but again, it is Benfica. We also probably rotated the team a little bit too much, as you can see. Mazzari in there, Malin, Vitek. Vitek's not actually a starter anymore. The guy we have in on loan from Real Madrid sort of taken his place. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with the rest of the season. Anyway, the next game was a 1-1 draw against Inter. And basically, if you look at the scores here, they had a player sent off in the 54th minute. They then got their only goal of the game in the 58th minute. And well, I thought we were about to lose. However, 94th minute equaliser from Famato. You could not even fathom how excited I was, because I literally thought that the game was over. And pretty much with the last kick of the ball, we managed to pick up a point, albeit, if you look at the match stats, it was pretty one-sided to us, but we just couldn't break their defence down until that last sort of kick of the ball. And then, of course, we entered in the semi-finals of the Club World Cup, and we beat Al Hilal from Saudi Arabia. I'm guessing that they were the Asian champions. And yeah, that puts us into today's final against Boca Juniors. Looking forward to it. Obviously, another chance at a pretty, I would say it's a pretty important piece of silverware. And obviously, I want to win everything. So, yeah, it's a must-win. It's a must-win. We'll go over the lineup for today's game. Pretty much going to go full strength. Cordon, the right winger, who is on loan. has just come back from injury, so he's a little bit lacking in match fitness, but he will start today. So yeah, in goals, we're going to go with Ingvarsson, Yusufi at right back, Ivan and Sabir as the two centre-halves. Michelotti will be the left back today. Novi as the defensive midfielder. We're going to go with the youngsters in the centre of midfield today. That is due to Britos lacking match condition and Viviani currently being out injured. But yeah, if we look at Mazzari, looks really good, really solid 19-year-old Italian player. And then we also have Sokolik, who we brought in last season. Looks really good. His description is a wonder kid, and we've just given him a new 5-year contract. 36k per week for an 18-year-old is pretty steep. However, this guy's highly rated. He is highly rated. 8 caps for the Czech national team with 2 goals already. I'm pretty excited about this guy, especially going forward. Hence why I gave him the huge pay rise, because he was only on about 13k per week. Anyway, Formato will be on the left wing, Cordon on the right wing, Chan Palat up front. The bench today is going to be Sogodogo. It's always hard to pronounce his name. Sogodogo, Cervellini, Malin, Squizzato, Britos, Schmidt, Albani, Vitek, and Pugh. And as you can see, we've got a couple of injuries at the moment. A couple of players were also not registered. But yeah, Nolascoin and Viviani being out injured. And then, of course, we weren't able to actually register Marcio due to the 23-man squad you're allowed to bring for this tournament. Anyway, let's advance. Like I said, looking forward to it. Boca Juniors are a pretty good team. They've got a lot of good, Argentinian players that have come through. And, yeah, it's definitely not going to be an easy game. We'll say that. They've got some players that could probably be playing, top flight football in Europe. And of course, their reputation. A lot of the South American clubs get, worldwide or continental reputation due to them winning the Libertadores and stuff like that. So they're able to attract a lot of, quality players. And of course, we've just got a goal in the first minute and a half of the game. Mazzari puts it in the back of the net. And while I'm, talking Boca Juniors up, they've just conceded woefully at the start of the game. Anyway, good news for us. Happy with that. It's kind of the start that we wanted. Cordon, Sokolik hits the post. A little bit unlucky there for him. But yeah, we're doing pretty well as Sabir picks up a yellow card. So we'll ease him off. Obviously, it's a cup final, but it doesn't exactly feel that important, if that makes sense. It doesn't feel like the TIM Cup. Cordon, that's the reason why he's keeping Vitek out of the team. Gets our second goal of the game. But yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one, this competition, because, it's essentially the World Cup of club football. So you would expect it to be, theoretically, it's the most important competition, proving that your club is the best in the world. However, they've got one back through Guerrero. 2-1. But yeah, I don't know. Winning the Champions League or the Champions League final was a lot more, but had me a lot more excited. That's for sure. Chan Palat blasted over the net. He hasn't been too impressive recently, as Formato with a beautiful free kick. I mean, he is one of the best players I have ever signed, I think, on Football Manager. I don't think we can sell him. I think he has to be a club legend and retire at the club. I don't even care how much it costs. Chan Palat still can't find the breakthrough for his opening goal. However, the boys are 3-1 up currently. And that was a pretty poor short corner there. Sokolik maybe not used to those short corners. Although, I mean, he's played a fair bit of football with the first team. Caught on to Famato at the back post. Possibly a penalty shout? I mean, that looked a little bit like a trip. Probably got the ball, to be fair, but did look like he took Famato down as well. Mazzari on the edge of the box. Famato. Yusufi. Well, he hits the post, and then it rebounds off the back of the goalkeeper and goes in his net. And, yeah. Things are just going from bad to worse for Boca Juniors. And that's only the first half, and they're 4-1 down, so... Yeah, I mean, it's let's just say, it's probably not the final that they were sort of expecting. I mean, maybe they were expecting to get beaten, but probably not be 4-1 down at halftime. Not a great, first half by any stretch of the imagination. Famato, bring the ball forward here. Mazzari, good save by their goalkeeper. Potentially redeeming himself a little bit there after the own goal. Mazzari again with the corner. It's the end of the highlight there. I mean, we're playing really well. I mean, they've only had the one shot on target, which they obviously scored from, as Michelotti picks up a yellow card there. We're going to make some subs. We'll bring Mazzari off, and Britos can come on, obviously. Good to get him some game time in the final. We'll take Famato off as well. And we'll do a triple change. Get Albani on there. Champilat obviously not too lethal today. Couldn't really find the back of the net. Hopefully, Albani can. Although it doesn't look very likely. Sort of tends to happen a fair bit. That's a decent free kick. I mean, Ingvarsson should have done a hell of a lot better there. I'll say that. I mean, that was central in the goal. Anyway, 4-2. I'm going to assume that we're still going to win the game. I mean, we're 2 goals up. Yusufi, good cross. Schmidt, ball in the back of the net. And, well, the substitute manages to get on the score sheet. Pretty happy overall with this performance. I mean, Albani's on a 6.6. Pretty dreadful, honestly, from both of our strikers today. Not really the performance that we would expect from either of them, to be honest. Although Albani hits the post. I mean, in a lot of ways, I guess both of the strikers have been a little bit unlucky. But yeah, Champilat definitely could have scored at least 2 or 3 goals, in my opinion. I mean, that should be full time. We've got, 10 seconds left. They're coming forward again. Like I said, they're a good side, Boca Juniors, but they're just not good enough, are they, to beat us? And there we go. We lift the FIFA Club World Cup. And essentially, we've won every trophy except for the Lega Pro Supercoppa. And that still haunts me to this day. Even after winning the Champions League, winning the Club World Cup, that Super Cup that we lost, the Serie C Super Cup, it still lingers in the back of my mind. Anyway, there's the famous treble, although I think it's more of a quadruple. We also get 3.8 million, which is good to see. Obviously going to help the finances out a little bit. Famato was man of the match. Like I said, where would we be without him? Honestly. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much going to wrap this episode up. If you enjoyed, drop a like. It'd be much appreciated. Subscribe as well. It'd be much appreciated as well. And yeah, take it easy and goodbye.